The bungalow never felt like a purchase. It felt like time. 9 years of it, measured in smaller choices no one else noticed. Rent kept low when it didn't have to be. Vacations declined without explanation. Money set aside before it could be spent. When I finally got the keys, there wasn't anyone there to hand them to me with ceremony. Just a quiet exchange, a signature, and then space. Mine. Not impressive, not large, but intentional. Every corner had been decided slowly. That mattered. When my parents said they were coming to visit, I didn't hesitate. They hadn't seen the place yet. It made sense. I cleaned more than usual that morning, not because it needed it, but because I wanted them to see it clearly. Not as something temporary, not as something adjustable, as something finished. They arrived mid-afternoon. My mother walked through the front door first, scanning the space quickly, not pausing long enough for anything to register as complete. My father followed, nodding once like he was assessing rather than visiting. "It's nice," he said. Not dismissive, just not quite acknowledging what it took to get there. I let it pass. There were small things at first, questions that sounded practical but weren't. Where would a second bed go? You could open this wall eventually. You didn't think about guests staying longer? I answered them lightly. Not defensively. Just enough to keep the conversation moving. But there was something underneath it. A kind of reworking. Like they weren't seeing the house as it was. They were seeing what it could become for someone else. The doorbell rang just before evening. I wasn't expecting anyone. My father stood up before I did, already moving toward the door. When it opened, my brother walked in. Not alone. His wife behind him. Their bags already in their hands, not in the car. 2 small suitcases. A larger one rolling in behind them. No hesitation, no introduction, just movement. Traffic was worse than we thought, he said. Stepping inside like the sentence explained everything. I didn't respond immediately. I watched the way they entered. Not cautiously, not temporarily. They were settling. "Where do we sleep?" my mother asked, already turning toward the hallway. It wasn't directed at me. It was directed at the house. As if it would answer on its own. I stayed where I was. For a second, I let the moment extend just long enough to see if anyone would recognize it. No one did. My brother set one of the bags down near the wall, already looking toward the bedrooms. "We'll figure it out," he said. "It's just for a bit." Just for a bit. That phrase had been used before. It never meant what it sounded like. I thought about the years that had led here, not in detail, just the weight of them. Every decision that had made this place possible, every time I had adjusted around someone else's need without questioning it. And how easily this moment assumed it would happen again. "You won't," I said. It came out quieter than I expected. Not sharp, not raised, just clear. They stopped moving. Not all at once, but enough. My mother turned back toward me. "What do you mean?" she asked. There was no anger in her voice, just confusion. Like I had stepped out of a role she hadn't realized could change. "You won't stay here," I said. I didn't add anything to it, didn't explain, didn't soften it. The room shifted, not dramatically, but the structure that had been forming, the one where this was already decided, stalled. My brother looked at me like he was trying to place what I had just said into something familiar. "It's temporary," he said. "We just need a place for a while." I nodded once. "I understand," I said. Then I stayed where I was. That was the part that mattered, not the words, the position. My father stepped in then. "You have the space," he said. "It's not unreasonable." There it was. The assumption, stated plainly. Availability equals obligation. I looked at him. "For me it is," I said. No argument followed immediately. Because there wasn't a version of that sentence that could be reworked into something else. The bags stayed where they were. Unmoved. The house didn't adjust. Not for them. My mother tried once more. Softer this time. "Where are they supposed to go?" she asked. It sounded like concern. But it wasn't mine to solve. "I'm sure they'll find somewhere," I said. And I meant it. Just not here. They didn't leave right away. Moments like that stretch. People wait for something to shift back into place. for someone to correct themselves. I didn't. Eventually, my brother picked up the first bag. Slowly. Like he was still expecting something to change. It didn't. They left the same way they came in, just without the certainty. When the door closed, the house felt the same. Not quieter, just intact. I stood there for a while, not moving, not replaying it, just noticing what it felt like when something held its shape. Later, I walked through each room. Nothing had changed. That was the point. I don't know how they talk about it now. Whether it was selfish, unexpected, unnecessary. It probably depends on who's telling it. But I know this, for the first time something I built didn't get redefined the moment someone else needed it. And that felt less like victory and more like finally being where I was supposed to be.